Hello everyone, welcome back to the tutorials again. So in previous session we have started studying about the permeability of a soil. So in that we have studied about the permeability and importance of permeability. After that we have started studying about the hydraulic gradient. So by using the hydraulic gradient we have studied about the Darcy's law. So hydraulic gradient is nothing but loss of head per unit length of flow. It is called as hydraulic gradient. So the formula for hydraulic gradient is given like this. You can see further. We have also studied about the Darcy's law, which says that velocity of flow is directly proportional to hydraulic gradient. So we can write it as V is equal to K into I, small k into small I. So small k is nothing but coefficient of permeability. So coefficient of permeability is defined as velocity of flow through soil under unit hydraulic gradient, because when hydraulic gradient is equal to 1, that is unit, when hydraulic gradient is equal to 1, V is equal to K. That's why we can say that when hydraulic gradient is equal to 1, velocity of flow through soil is equal to hydraulic gradient. So hydraulic gradient is having same unit as the velocity. So this is a relation we can write by using the relation Q is equal to V into A. V is nothing but K into I. So I can write it as small q, that is discharge per unit time, is equal to K into I into A. So for various types of soil, the values of K is given in this particular table. So we'll move further. You can see over here another thing is validation and limitations of Darcy's law we have studied. Even we have studied about the assumptions of Darcy's law also. So several times in our examination they have asked about this. So validation of Darcy's law also we have studied. Next we just started studying about the factors affecting permeability. So permeability is mainly affected by the characteristics of the soil and the characteristics of the permanent fluid properties. Okay, you can see first one, grain size. Smaller the grain size, smaller will be the voids. That's why smaller the grain size, lower will be the permeability. Higher the grain size, higher will be the voids, higher the space in between in the voids. That's why the permeability will be high in that case. So Alan Haze has given the equation for relating coefficient of permeability with size of the particles, that is d10, effective size. Next, properties of the pore fluid. So permeability is directly proportional to unit weight of pore. So you can see as the pore increases, permeability increases. So unit weight of pores increases, permeability increases. What is unit weight of pore? Unit weight of pore is nothing but it is a density of pore. As density of pore increases, permeability will increase. Similarly, as viscosity of pore fluid, the fluid which is flowing through the pores or voids of the soil, as the viscosity of such a fluid increases, so it is going to decrease the permeability of the soil. So I can directly say that permeability is directly proportional to unit weight of the pore and inversely proportional to viscosity of the pore fluid. Next you can see void ratio. When we plot void ratio on y-axis and coefficient of permeability on x-axis in a log scale, we are going to get the linear graph. So that's why we can say that increase in void ratio increases the area available for flow, hence permeability increases. So I can directly say that void ratio is directly proportional to permeability. As void ratio increases, the permeability also increases. So for that, the proof is this particular graph. Remember, while writing in the exams also, you have to write this type of formulas as well as this type of graph. Sometimes explain the factors affecting permeability they have given for 8 marks, and sometimes they have given for 10 marks. Next one, effect of soil structure. So fine grained soil with flocculated structure have higher coefficient of permeability compared to dispersed sheet. So fine grained soil with flocculated structure is having higher void ratio. That is why it is having higher coefficient of permeability. Similarly, you can see one of the important factor which is going to affect the permeability is stratification of the soil. So stratified soils are those which are formed by layer upon layer of earth or dust deposition one upon other. So soil, if the soil is formed layer by layer, then it is called as stratified soil. So remember, it is called as stratified soil. Stratification might be in uh, various types. So you can see, we'll study this point. If flow is parallel to layers, so flow, you can see, if flow is parallel to layers, so stratification might be in horizontal manner or else in vertical manner. That's what I was telling. So when the flow is parallel to stratification, so you can see K1 here, also you can see K2. So if here K1 is parallel to stratification, here K2 is parallel to stratification. So if the flow is parallel to layers, the permeability is maximum, while flow is perpendicular direction to stratification of, that means minimum permeability. So when this flow is parallel to stratification in this direction or else in this direction, then the permeability is maximum when the flow is perpendicular to the direction of stratification. Here it is K2, here it is K1. So then in this case flow will be minimum. So K1 will be greater than K2. In this case, here K2 will be greater than K1, because here K1 is parallel to stratification, here K2 is parallel to stratification. Next you can see absorbed water. So if more water is absorbed by the soil, the water will form thin film on the surface of the soil particles, that is due to surface tension. So this water film is not free to move, hence it reduces the pore space. So as the pore spaces are concerned, when the thin layer of water is formed due to surface tension on the particles of the soil, so due to formation of that, the effective size of the pore will reduce, or effective pore space will reduce, hence it will decrease the permeability decrease in the permeability is going to occur. Next, entrapped air and other foreign materials. If there is a presence of entrapped air, permeability will reduce, as the if the air is uh, already entrapped, means entraption means it is it won't be able to escape. Okay, so if air is entrapped in the soil, so it is going to block the path of the water which is flowing through. So hence the permeability will reduce in case of entrapped air. Similarly, you can see, if foreign materials or impurities are present, they will obstruct the flow of water, hence they reduces the permeability. Next and last one, effect of discharge of saturated soil. So higher the, sorry, effect of degree of saturated soil, higher the degree of saturation, higher will be permeability, because if the degree of saturation is 100%, there will be no water which is going to get absorbed by the soil. All the water which is going to fall on the soil is going to flow. That is why we can say that higher the degree of saturation, higher will be permeability. Okay, so these are the 8 factors which I had listed out as a factors affecting permeability. So you can just go through these 8 factors. Many other factors are also there. Whatever the factors which I found as important, I have just mentioned. So some 12 to 15 factors are there. So you can just go through them also. Next, you can see after studying that, there are 2 types of velocities which we need to study. So even this question was many times asked in the many of the competitive exams as well as your university question papers. So discharge velocity and seepage velocity. So what is the exact meaning of discharge velocity? What is the exact meaning of seepage velocity? what is the difference between discharge velocity and seepage velocity, we are going to study further. So first I am going to consider about the discharge velocity. So discharge velocity is also called as theoretical velocity. Remember this, discharge velocity is also called as theoretical velocity. The velocity of flow of water, that is V, through the soil mass obtained from Darcy's law. So that is V is equal to K into I. So whatever the velocity is there which we are going to obtain from the Darcy's law, by assuming that flow takes place through total cross-sectional area. You can see over here, uh, in total cross-sectional area flow is taking place. So we are going to assume in that manner. So in total cross-sectional area flow is going to take place. So by assuming that, if I find out the velocity, it is called as discharge velocity or theoretical velocity. But remember, flow will not occur through entire soil mass. Flow will only occur through voids. So this is very important point. So flow will not occur through entire soil mass. So flow is only going to occur through the uh, voids. So the total area is composed of area of voids and area of soil solids. But flow can only takes place through area of voids. So AV. So thus actual velocity of flow or seepage velocity of flow. So seepage velocity of flow is also called as actual velocity of flow. Discharge velocity is also called as theoretical velocity of flow. So you can see seepage velocity Vs is found by using area of voids. So here we are going to use total area. Here we are going to use area of voids. So Q is equal to A into V. That is A is nothing but area of voids into seepage velocity. So here you can see Q is equal to V into A. It is regular in case of discharge velocity. But in case of seepage velocity, we are only going to consider area of voids and we are only going to consider the seepage velocity. So Q is equal to area of voids into seepage velocity. So seepage velocity I can write as, so you can see Q is equal to A into V, that is regular cross-sectional area into velocity, which should be equal to, as the total flow should be equal to same, as the total flow in any case, it might be seepage velocity or discharge velocity. In both the cases velocity may vary, but total flow, that is discharge, should be same. So I can say that A into V, so this I am going to keep on this side. So Q is equal to AV. So Q is equal to AV, which should be equal to AV into Vs. AV into Vs. So you can see in any case velocity may vary, but amount of discharge will remain same. That is why I am considering it in this manner. So small q is equal to A into V, which is equal to AV into Vs. So I can write this Vs as Vs is equal to V into A divided by AV. So I can say that I have not taken length over here. Area into length is going to give us volume. AV into length is going to give us the volume. So length on both the sides I have cancelled. So area I have kept as it is. So total area divided by area of voids, or else total volume divided by volume of voids, is nothing but uh, inverse of porosity. So you can see over here, same thing I have mentioned over here. Area of voids into length is going to give us volume of voids. So total area into total length is equal to total volume. So volume of voids divided by total volume is nothing but porosity of the soil. So it is in reverse manner. That is why I am going to substitute V is equal to 1 by N. So I can say that Vs is equal to V into 1 by N. So I can say that Vs is equal to V divided by N. So what is Vs over here? Vs is nothing but seepage velocity. What is V over here? V is nothing but regular velocity. Now what is N over here? N is nothing but porosity of the soil. So further you can see over here, we can write it as Vs is equal to Kp into I. Here Kp is different. Kp is coefficient of percolation. So So percolation is only going to occur through the voids of the soil. So that's why it is called as percolation. So Kp is coefficient of percolation into I, which is equal to Vs. So what is equal to V? V is equal to regular K into I. What is Vs? Vs is equal to Kp into I. Now you can see, if I do Vs divided by V, means seepage velocity divided by regular velocity, I can write it as Kp into I divided by K into I. So again I and I are going to get cancelled, so which is equal to Kp divided by K. But you can see one thing over here. If I take Vs divided by V, if I take this V on this side, I can say that Vs divided by V is equal to 1 by N. So same thing I have used, Vs divided by V is equal to 1 by N. So here Vs divided by V is there. So Vs divided by V is equal to 1 by N. So which is equal to Kp divided by K. So this equation as well as this equation I have used, and I have written as Vs divided by V is equal to 1 by N, which is equal to Kp divided by K. So Kp divided by K is equal to 1 by 1. So I can say that Kp is equal to, so this K I am going to take on that side. So Kp is equal to small k divided by N. So this is the equation which we are going to use while solving the problems also. Okay, so I hope you have understood about the content which I have taught. Generally the difference is very simple. Discharge velocity is also called as theoretical velocity, and seepage velocity is also called as actual velocity. So what is discharge velocity? Discharge velocity is nothing but small q, that is discharge divided by total cross sectional area. It is called as discharge velocity. But what is seepage velocity? Seepage velocity is nothing but total discharge divided by area of voids. So why we are going to consider area of voids? Because the flow can only occur through the voids. Okay, so now the difference between discharge and the seepage velocity is clear. So you can see over here another important thing, that is Kp is known as coefficient of, what is Kp? Coefficient of percolation. So what is regular K? Regular K is coefficient of permeability. Next you can see this is the relation which you need to understand and you need to remember. So further I will move permeability of stratified soil. So stratified soil is nothing but layer by layer soil. So in case of stratified soil layers, layer by layer deposits of each layer may be homogeneous and isotropic. So layer by layer deposits might be homogeneous or isotropic. But when we consider flow through the entire deposit, the average permeability of deposit will vary with direction of flow related to bedding plane. So you can see direction of flow in with respect to bedding plane, or I can say that by using this, by referring this particular diagram, I can say, let us think that these are the stratifications of the soil which are in this horizontal manner. If the flow is in this horizontal manner, it is called as flow is parallel to bedding plane. If the flow is in vertical direction, so we can say that flow is perpendicular to bedding plane. So these layers are also called as bedding planes. Now the average permeability parallel to bedding planes will be greater than the perpendicular to bending. So you can see that average permeability parallel to bedding plane. When the flow is parallel to bedding plane, what is the average permeability we are going to find out. And similarly, when the flow is perpendicular to bedding plane, in next case we are going to find out the permeability. So I am going to teach all these things in next session. Further, you can see after studying these flow of water through various layered soils, so we are going to solve a few of the problems on this layered soils, and after that, after solving few of the problems from question papers, we are going to move to the determination of permeability. So how to determine the permeability we are going to move. Okay, so I will stop here. Next lecture we are going to continue, and we are going to move forward to see various interesting concepts. Thank you.